record and we will get started. So hi everyone, thank you so much for being here today. Welcome to our 12th virtual orientation session, Commuter Student Panel. Again, my name is Jennifer Abraham and I'm the graduate intern for new student and transition programs, and I am working with you throughout the summer orientation program to help you get started on your path to the Hill. I will also be facilitating our panel tonight. So before we introduce our panel, I also like to introduce our Director of Commuter and Residence Life, Cory. So Cory, if you want to go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I am Cory Campbell, like she said, Director of Residence and Commuter Life. This is a new role for me. I've been the Director of Residence Life at Seton Hill for many years, and I've been here for almost 10 years. I really enjoy working with and serving students and providing what they need. And this is an exciting new opportunity to work with a new group of students. So I'm very eager to hear the questions and concerns that you guys have tonight. Rest assured, if we don't have answers, we're going to be working on them. And we want to make sure that we have everything in place to make sure you guys have a great college experience, even while you're commuting. So I will go ahead and go along to the panel.
So in addition to Cory tonight, we also have 3 awesome panelists who are commuter students here on campus, and they'll introduce themselves as well. So I'm going to pass it off to Sarah Askford.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Sarah Semekoski. I got a big, long Polish last name, but I'm from Hunker, Pennsylvania, which is right next to Greensburg. I actually graduated from Hempfield, if any of you are really local. I am a junior biology major with a chemistry minor, and my favorite summer activity is actually being able to travel in a normal year. Thank God for vaccines and everything where we're able to travel once again. But I love traveling. I love being able to go and visit new places.
Thanks, Sarah. Sarah W., would you mind introducing yourself?
Hi, I'm Sarah Weathers. I am from Plum, PA. Not sure if anybody knows where that's at, but it's about 35 minutes from Greensburg. I am a LECOM biochemistry major with a forensic science minor, and I just like being able to see my friends during the summer and not have to worry about school or anything.
Thanks, Sarah W. And Todd, last but not least.
What's going on, everybody? My name is Todd Griffin. I'm a senior musical theater major with a focus in acting. I'm from Plum, Pennsylvania as well. Me and Sarah went to high school together. My favorite summer activity, I love to host people over, have parties and stuff like that. Obviously, it's slowed down with everything with COVID, but I hope to have everybody over this summer probably for a pool party, so that'll be lit.
Thanks, Todd. As we go through this panel, again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, but we have some questions for our panelists that we'd like to talk to tonight. So first things first, why don't you all start telling us what brought you to Seton Hill? And Todd, if you want to start, that would be great.
Yeah, for sure. So being that I was saying I'm a musical theater major, you kind of have 2 admission processes when coming to Seton Hill, because one, you have to get in academically, but you also have to get in based on your talent and visual and performing arts skills. So I had to audition with songs and monologues. So when I came to Seton Hill, I was also checking out other schools locally in Pittsburgh, one being Point Park and Pitt and all these other different schools, Ohio, I wanted to find a school that was very supportive and very welcoming and very just finding my needs. Being that Seton Hill is a smaller school, that was something that really attracted me because all the professors, one, were all in the professional field. They are currently still working and doing things in the professional roles, but also, it's on a one-on-one basis. They know your name. You're not just a number, what was your name again? Or what are we doing again? They actually know me. So being able to come to Seton Hill, especially the visual and performing arts, coming into that, audition process, they were very supportive, even your fellow competitors / students coming into school to audition. Everybody was super cheerful and supportive and welcomed growth. So it's very individualized. You don't have that feeling of you're all doing the same thing. It's based on you and how you want to grow and what avenue you want to go in. So with me, I wanted to focus in acting, but I also take dance classes because I lack in that. So, you can basically move that to however you want to do it. And I think that also pertains to, well, it does, I know it pertains to, being on the Hill as well with your liberal arts and whatever major you fall into as well.
Thanks, Todd. How about you, Sarah W?
So my experience with Seton Hill started when I was a junior in high school and I was nominated for the Women in Science Award. At the time, I was looking at going to Pitt for pre-med and then continue on through medical school. But coming to Seton Hill, I realized that the science program is phenomenal. And I also wanted a smaller school environment and that one-on-one aspect with the professors. And because when I was in high school, I had smaller classes, so I was used to having a connection with my teachers, and I wanted to continue that on into college. And with getting into LECROM for the early acceptance program, I had to look at an affiliate school, and Seton Hill was one of them. So it honestly worked out very well.
Thanks, Sarah W. And how about you, Sarah S?
My answer is kind of similar to both Sarah and Todd in wanting to be able to kind of establish a relationship with all of my professors that I have, because I really like, one of the main things that I really like about Seton Hill is the fact that I am able to go and send my professors a quick email and they'll get back to me within a day, or being able to just walk up to office hours and being like, hey, doctor, whatever, I have a question. Can you help me figure this out or whatever? I have found that all of the professors here all are really, really lenient with that stuff, and they all just really want to see us succeed. So I really liked that aspect of being able just to kind of walk up to them and be like, hey, I'm having issues with this certain concept. Can you help me figure it out? And I know I wouldn't have been able to do that if I would have went to a larger school like Pitt or Penn State or anywhere, because a lot of that stuff is kind of just handed off to the TAs with larger schools because the professors are working on other stuff while they're there as well. So I knew if I would come to a smaller school such as Seton Hill, then I would be able to be asking my questions to the professors themselves, and I would be getting the answers that I wanted to get.
Thanks, Sarah S. I agree. Having that small school environment, you definitely get to make stronger connections with your peers as well as your faculty, which is great. Let's talk about the commuting process. How would you describe the commuting process, or what's the commuting process like for you? And is it easy to find parking or get situated on campus once you arrive? Sarah W., let's start with you this time.
I feel like it's fairly easy. It also depends on where you commute from, I think. With being about 35 minutes away, I definitely have to plan accordingly. So I normally leave about an hour before my first class starts, just so I have enough time to get to campus, find parking, and have enough time to get to my class without running up a hill and then being out of breath as soon as I sit down. So it honestly depends on where you commute from. And as far as parking goes, it depends on the time of the day. When I get there for an 8 a.m. class, most parking lots were empty and I could get a decent spot. But if I would leave in between a gap and then come back, I couldn't find a parking spot, especially in A lot, which is the main commuter parking lot. So I'd have to find parking spot somewhere different. So keep that in mind when it comes to the time of the day, so you can avoid parking in E-Lot and having to walk up the hill, because that one is rough.
Thanks, Sarah W. Todd, anything to add there?
Yeah, I would say just like Sarah said, you need to just plan accordingly. When you get your schedule, I would implement it into your Google Calendar so you can see all your classes and see how they're fit. Definitely just make sure you wake up early enough to get to your class, because you can say, oh, it only takes me 35 minutes to get there, but if you get there right at that time, then you have to find parking, then you're going to be late. So definitely take that into account. I would say it's pretty easy to commute. I like it just because I have the comfortability of just being able to go home and chill. One thing is, being that you are a commuter, you don't have to just go home right after a class. You can stay there. So it's nice to have that early time to get there, get a parking spot, and chill. I think A lot is the best lot. We kind of get the perfect lot to just get to our classes and stuff. So I feel pretty good about that one. So yeah.
Thanks, Todd. And Sarah asked, anything else there?
Kind of just going off of what both Sarah and Todd said. Yeah, A lot is amazing. We love parking in A lot. It is so nice. I have been very lucky with every single time that I schedule my classes. I especially schedule morning classes, specifically either an 8 a.m. or a 9:10 class, or like a lab that starts around like 9 o'clock to make sure that I'm able to park in A, because typically A lot is filled by the time that all of the 9:10 class times like get there. And then at that point, parking is still pretty easy after A lot fills up with B and C and Boyle. As commuters, you're able to park, I believe, anywhere on campus. And because some residents are only able to park in certain lots, but as a commuter, you're able to park really anywhere that you can find a parking spot. So you shouldn't really have too much of an issue being able to find parking. And even if you have to park in E-Lot, there is a shuttle that I believe runs from E-Lot that'll run you up to the hill. So you don't necessarily have to walk up the, like, I think it's like 100 stairs or something like that to get up from, but the parking really isn't that bad at all.
Thanks, Sarah. Yeah, so let's move into academics. What are some key academic related tips to classes and working with faculty? And do you feel like it's easy to access faculty during the day as commuter students? Sarah S., we'll start with you this time.
Some key academic tips. One of the things, number one thing, stay on top of your work, guys. As you transition, you're going to kind of realize college is a lot more based on how you are doing everything yourself, because that's what college is. It's learning by yourself, and your professor is teaching you the material, but you're expected to go back in and look at that material and really internalize that material. So staying on top of your work and making sure that you understand what's going on is just one of the biggest things that I can't convey that enough to you guys. Just stay on top of your work. And I feel like a lot of the professors, I think I said this before, but a lot of the professors are very, very accessible outside of class. And they all want to see you succeed. So they're all very willing to help you in any way that they can. I even have had a situation where I met with a professor like 2 hours before I took the final for their class to go over stuff. And they still, like, they let me sit in their office and they helped me clear up like any last question I had. All the professors just want to see you guys succeed, and they want to be able to say, like, I don't want to see you in again. Like, I want you to go on and do more stuff. Like, I don't want you in my class anymore. Like, I want you to be able to pass. And a lot of the professors are just really, like, they really want to see you succeed.
Thanks, Sarah S. Todd, anything to add about academic tips?
I mean, what Sarah said, I would just say key thing is being organized. Just working with your faculty, just knowing when your finals are, your midterms, tests and homework, things like that. Managing your time well. I'm sure we'll talk about that. But as far as just knowing academic tips wise, just yeah, like, and I say at every panel, like, if everything we're gonna say is easier said than done. I know. But like procrastination is like the biggest thing, because that'll go into your self-care and, you know, being stressed about things. So just staying on top of your work, even if it's like doing small things at, you know, one time, or doing things here and there, just getting it organized. So yeah.
Thanks, Todd. And Sarah W.
I agree with both of them. Definitely stay on top of your work. It's easy to get behind because you're like, well, this isn't due for a month, so I'm just gonna wait. And then that month is there, and you're like, oh, I did not start that assignment. I do it. I feel like we all do it, and we're not perfect. So I would say to stay on top of your work as much as possible, especially during a pandemic. I mean, we're all feeling the stress of it. I was gonna say something else, but now I can't remember. Study, don't wait till the night before, done it. Or just if you don't study at all, definitely not a good thing. Oh, it's not like high school where like you can't do your work like at all during the school day. If you have like 5 minutes before a class, do a quick assignment, get the easy ones out of the way so you're not crammed at like 6 o'clock at night. Because as a commuter, you don't want to stay up super late, especially if you have an early class. Then you're gonna push yourself behind in the morning, and it's just gonna be a cycle, and it's not a good one.
If I could also jump in and add, I think one of the things that commuter students often face is that, you feel like you're done with class and you need to go. And I think Todd had mentioned it, that, you're welcome to stay on campus. That one of the other great resources is, studying as a community, whether you have a study group, people that you want to do your homework with, that helps to create accountability and help you stay up to date on your assignments. So if you do find a group, don't feel like you need to shy away. You're welcome to stay on campus. You're welcome to access those, but to also use your time wisely. Some of you might be spending an hour or more a day driving, and that's an hour that you're losing from other things. So while you are on campus, utilize resources. If you have time before classes, go to the math enrichment center while they're open and do homework there for a while and get your questions answered before you get home. Work on your assignment at the writing center, go over to the library with friends and get a study room. But there's lots of opportunities to use your time wisely and really give yourself a leg up in staying ahead in the assignments.
Thanks, everyone. I think Cory has the perfect transition there. Talking about to the panelists, what do you do in between classes, before or after? And are there activities to participate in the early evening or during the day that you have joined? Todd, we'll start with you for this question.
Yeah, I'm a little bit all over the place. Sometimes I just be chilling. Like, I just don't do nothing at all. But it just depends on your day. Like, that's when I like know I'm cool. I don't have a lot of work because I tend to do it like a lot whenever I have the time out of being at on Seton Hill. I usually I myself like to do my work at home whenever I'm focused because I'm very social, so I love talking to people. Or I'll go to the commuter lounge, which is really helpful as well, where I can go there, and after that it's a silent slash room where you can discuss and do team projects and stuff like that. But also if you go on Shine or your event pass, you can see the different events that we have around campus that happen. A lot of clubs, sometimes are always selling stuff at the caf, or they're at the dining hall, I should say, or they have different clubs you can join that meet in between times of the day that you can join as well. So that's pretty cool. I tend to always go to lunch. I know sometimes you might think you can go home, and based on if you have a meal or not, I will say, you'll find a couple friends that you have on campus that'll give you a meal swipe, and it's pretty awesome. So just take advantage of that, and get a free meal sometimes. That's always fun. Or I'll go, like I said, to the commuter lounge and just chill there and do my work as well.
Sarah S., anything you'd like to add?
Besides the commuter lounge, one of the wonderful things about Seton Hill is you can find seating almost anywhere. I'm in Boyle a lot of my time, which is the health sciences building. I'm there all the time. And there are so many places to sit in that building alone. There's a bunch of seating all over. And whenever it's warm outside, you can go and sit on Sullivan Lawn, which is right smack dab in the middle of campus. And it's always so nice to be out there. And there's picnic tables and there's always somewhere to be sitting down in between classes. I typically will try to work on stuff whenever I have time in between classes, just because I will prioritize my sleep a lot whenever I get home. My brain kind of shuts off after 10 p.m., which is early for a college student in my personal opinion, but I like to get as much of it done as while I am there. So that way, whenever I get home, I know exactly what I need to do. So I don't have to be staying up late, because once I hit a certain point in my head, I just will not absorb the material. And it's just I'm just staring at this textbook. I am not absorbing this information. So I really like to sit there and do my work. And I also like being there in between classes to do my work, because there's not as many distractions sometimes. I have found at home, whenever I'm trying to do homework a lot, if I still live with my parents, I commute. So obviously, oh, I got to go take the dog out because my parents are on a conference call or something like that. Or, oh, my mom needs help with something. My dad needs help with something. I need to go move the cars or something like that. There's all different types of distractions that can happen while you're at home. So whenever I study at Seton Hill, I kind of am eliminating those distractions, and it helps me focus better.
Thanks, Sarah S. And Sarah W., what do you do in between, before, or after classes?
Sometimes I will go take a nap in my car, if I'm being honest. I have a pillow and blanket in there, lay in the back seat, so like I'm good to go. Um, I also spend a lot of my time in Boyle, so I like to go on second or third floor Boyle because it's usually the quietest. Because first floor, it's where everybody comes in, the vibe is in there, so people are coming in and out, getting snacks and just talking to everybody. Um, I also like to go to the balconies in admin. They're very nice, especially the one like towards the back, like you're facing E-lot kind of like back there. That's normally pretty quiet. And yeah, I try and do my work if I'm not sleeping. Because I will sleep for like 3 hours in my car. I don't care. And then I normally come home, take a nap. So it's like 7 o'clock and I still haven't done my work, which is awful. But I do have some clubs that I've joined that meet either like 4 to 8 p.m. So like it honestly depends on which club it is and which day. So I will do that. But I do spend most of my time on campus unless I know I have a large gap. Then I'll come home, like eat lunch, see my mom, my dog, and then head back out. But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you all. Cory also highlighted this as well as he was talking, but what are some helpful resources that you might have found, or maybe some helpful places to go as commuter students? I know we've talked a lot about the commuter lounge, but Sarah W., is there any resource that you felt has been really helpful to you?
I honestly just go to my professors whenever I need. I also do rely on like other students in my classes that like if they were there before I got there and the professors started to say something important, I normally ask them like, hey, what did I miss? But normally I just go to my professors if I need any help. Since I am stubborn and I'm not one to use many resources, but we're getting there. But yeah, I don't use a ton of resources, but there's many available.
Thanks, Sarah W. How about you, Sarah S.?
I kind of agree with Sarah on that one. I am also very stubborn and don't like to ask for help. But when I do ask for help, I will first go to some of my friends. A lot of my friends are like the same major as me, which like go and make friends with people that are in your major, you guys. It'll make your lives so much easier because you all are going through the same exact thing together. So why not like go through it together? So I will go and ask my friends, and if none of us are able to kind of figure out what's going on, then we go to the professor, schedule an office hours meeting, and typically at that point we'll be able to figure out what's going on. But I did also want to point out a physical resource. The private study rooms in the library are just a gift. They are so wonderful in between classes, being able to go there, or like if you have to take an exam or something like that, the private study rooms are just such an amazing resource to use. You go and you schedule them through MyShoe, or sometimes like you can even just walk into one if they're not all like scheduled to be used. But 9 times out of 10, when I'm in the library, I am in one of those study rooms because I like being by myself and I like how they're set up, and I can put like my computer is on the desk, my phone, I put it on the opposite end of the room, and I'm just sitting there like minding my own business and doing whatever I need to do. It's such an amazing little thing because it's your own private little room. You're the only one in there. Or if you want to invite like a friend or something, if you want to have like a study session or something like that, it's such a wonderful resource that I definitely take advantage of. And I definitely recommend that everyone takes advantage of it.
Thanks, Sarah. And last but not least, Todd.
I'll definitely being a visual and performing arts major. With musical theater, I'm typically at the down the hill, as we call it, down at the Performing Arts Center, and the Arts Center. So I'm usually in between classes using the performance areas, being a dance studio or a practice room where I can practice piano or I can practice singing or my monologues, things like that in the various rooms we have. They also have those up the hill. So if you know you're up on the hill and you would like to practice up there, they do have them, but you have to be a specific major and you'll get a code based on like if you're a piano performance major or organist, things like that. But you can find those out by like talking to those people. So those are the ones I typically use. Yeah. Do I have anything else? I don't know. I'll let you know.
Thank you. Let's also talk about getting involved and managing your time. We'll kind of combine those together in the sense of maybe can you share 2 or 3 things that you're involved in here at Seton Hill? And with that involvement, how do you manage your time with the aspect of commuting to campus? Sarah S., we'll start with you.
So obviously I'm an orientation leader. I'm a new orientation leader. This is my first year doing this. So I kind of learned how to manage my time around that a little bit with the trainings that we had to do this past semester. And a part of that, I really tried to focus on my major. So like I'm part of the biology club. So between that, it's just kind of being able to really recognize whenever you need to like sit down and be like, okay, I need to work on something and I need to do it right now because I need to get it done. You need to kind of learn how to figure out that for yourself because everybody's different with that. So I personally have found one of the things that I need to do is my main distraction is this little device right here, my cell phone, because I can't put it down for, I swear, more than like 10 minutes because something's always going on that I need to be on that phone for. So I will shut my phone off. I will basically lock myself in my bedroom and I will sit down and I'll be like, okay, I got to read this chapter. And then after this chapter, I can have like 10 minutes on my phone. There's like a timer that I use as well. I have an app on my phone, ironically, that is a little timer, or you can also like look up little like studying timers where it'll do like 25 minutes of studying and then you can do like 5 minutes of break time or whatever. And I have found that that works wonders for me and how my brain operates. So it's really just, you need to kind of figure out what works best for you because everybody is different with that. But it's really important that you manage your time properly because you're going to learn that you're going to be so busy whenever classes start up, like you're going to become a lot busier than you think that you will be. So it's really important that you kind of figure out for yourself how to manage your time.
Thanks, Sarah S. How about you, Sarah W.?
Like I said, taking a nap is definitely my biggest downfall. I'm like always wanting to sleep. I'll be honest, I took a nap before I came on this, so it is still carrying over in the summer. So I definitely try and get as many assignments done as I can on campus. Especially if I know like I have a doctor's appointment or I have a club meeting like after my last class. I definitely don't want to like overwhelm myself and have too much to do after that because the one club that I joined, we normally had meetings at like 7 or 8 p.m. So after that, like I don't really want to do anything. I'm also a new orientation leader, so I learned a lot with the meetings that we did and how I had to like get home in time and then do my work as well. I also joined many clubs and I'm now the president of chemistry club. So we're gonna add that on to my schedule. And you think that 17 credits isn't a lot, but it is, especially with some classes that you take. So definitely recognize that it's not gonna be a walk in the park, even if it is a liberal arts class. So just figure out what works for you and your best time management.
Thanks, Sarah W. And how about you, Todd? What are you involved in? How do you manage your time?
All right, so how I'm involved in the Student Theater Activities Council. I've been in OL. This is my 3rd year, so basically every year I was available too. I've been in OL. I feel like I'm also usually I'm in a play or a musical, so usually that eats up a lot of my time. It's kind of my curriculum slash like once I audition, I'm in it, so I have a lot of rehearsals. BSU meets at night, so and that's usually during my rehearsals, so I can't really go, but I always try to like stay tuned in what they're doing. But as far as time management, Google Calendar, I think I talked about it, is like my favorite thing. I literally put everything that my life pertains to in Google Calendar, whether that be my rehearsals, class assignments. Some of those things will get integrated onto your Google account when you get your email through Seton Hill, which I'm sure you already have. But just using that really helps, and putting in like 10 reminders. I'll put more like 4. I'll put like an hour, 30 minutes, 15 minutes before everything, so I know and I'm not late to anything. I will say this. Everybody's going to be different, but like for me at least, like I'm able to, like, you'll learn by just doing it. Like once you find your specific route or something like that, as far as time management to school, I would say find like 2 routes to school. Like don't have one route. I promise you, if you find one route and it's going to say road closed, you're going to be like, what? And be real confused on how to get to school. So find at least 2 routes to get to school. I take one way to the turnpike and one way without it. So like just one or the other. With time management as well, just taking the time to also put in breaks for yourself, so you're not burning yourself out, because you will have that happen if you're running around, especially being a commuter from, say, just like one side of campus to going back home or forgetting something, things like that. So just keeping all of those things in mind. So yeah, it can be hard, but it'll be manageable as you go through. You won't find it on day one. It'll take you maybe, like, it took me, I think, in my first year, I think like 2 weeks really to like just get everything down. Like, oh, all right, this is fresh, this feels good. Like, of really just knowing my flow and how to get around school and getting, to and back from home. So yeah.
Thanks, Todd. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to take a moment, and if you have any questions, anyone who's watching right now, if you want to put them in the chat, or if you would like to unmute yourself, Cory is going to help answer our questions. And I already do have a question that I'll read, Cory. So Matthew asked, how is it getting up the hill in the winter? Would we have trouble getting up the hill?
I want to answer this one because I kind of have a little bit of a funny story. In the great words of Dr. Mordyke, if you have trouble getting up the hill in the winter, we should not be on campus. They are so amazing with making sure that that hill is cleared for commuters to come up that hill. And you guys should not have, unless there's like extreme weather, there should not be any issues coming up the hill at all. And I wanted to say this because there was I think it was like the second week of classes this past semester, there was a day where classes were canceled for the first like half of the day. But by the time that Dr. Finger had sent the email, I had already gotten to campus for my 9 o'clock lab. So Dr. Mordyke looked at me and the 2 other commuters that had showed up and was like, if you want to stay and do the lab, you can stay and do the lab and get ahead, but you don't have to. And I ended up staying and doing that lab because the roads were just awful. They were so bad that day, but you guys should not have any issue getting up the hill in the winter at all, because like I said, like there's like road crews out at, I swear, like probably like 3 a.m. making sure that that road is cleared for you guys. So you shouldn't have any issues to get up the hill.
I will say, to add to that, that also goes into time management, just talking about winter. Yo, make sure you heat up your car. Like if you got an automatic starter, or if you don't, because man, will I tell you, one time I was running late, I got in that car, I was like this. It be freezing, y'all. Don't do it to yourselves. You'll be mad. And it's bad for your car. And if you keep doing that, it's just gonna ruin your whole car. So don't do that.
And adding on to that, sometimes the roads, like main roads, look okay, but back roads are not clear. So give yourself enough time to get out of your plan, because Plum and Murraysville have windy roads. And I can't tell you how many times I slid, like making a turn. I'm like, I swear, if I hit a car and I have to call my mom and be like, I wrecked my car, it's not going to go over well. So just keep that in mind. And if you go into the back way to get onto campus, when you go past like Caritas Christi and past the dorms, that's also clear, because that's how I normally go in. So campus is fine. It's everywhere else that you have to keep in mind that, hey, this may be really bad. So give yourself enough time. Don't rush. Especially if you know, like, it could be snowing or there could be ice. Definitely keep that in mind. And don't be afraid to email your professors and be like, hey, the roads are too bad, I'm not coming to campus. And I believe that we're still going to do Zoom as an option. I think someone said that. So if Zoom is still an option to go to class, do that. Don't be afraid to tell your professor, I'm not coming. I'm not going to wreck my car to come to your class.
Facts. Whole lot of facts. Because I ain't doing that. You talked about slip and slide, and I'm like, what is he talking about? I wouldn't even be coming.
Awesome. Guys, I do have a couple of questions that came into chat. The first one, is there parking by the art and performing centers too? So Todd, do you want to tell us about your parking and how you handle that downtown?
Yeah, this is recorded. I want Seton Hill to listen to me. The visual and performing arts lot, the one right next to the Visual and Performing Arts Center, you need to buy it with our tuition. We don't own it. You have to use quarters. I will say we do have the commuter parking down there. It's near the wrestling workout area where that's free, but you have to walk through the tunnel then to get to the Visual and Performing Arts Center. But I would love if, Dr. Finger and all of your associates to, maybe buy that for us so we could have parking right next to it. It would be great. We'd love it.
I'm gonna go off of that too, if you're done.
Yes, but there is parking down there. It's right across from down the hill. So when you're coming up the hill, if you look right behind you in your river mirror right behind you, that's where the parking is, right there near the wrestling practice center thing ish.
Going off of that, I take a chorus class down in the pack. So I would normally park in like the commuter parking. But there were days that I was running late and I knew I could not walk from that lot up to the pack because I just didn't have time. So make sure you have quarters with you just in case. And also in the winter, it is a further walk than you actually think it is. So wear a coat. Coats are not always cool, but bundle up. It does get cold, especially when you're walking up the hill and the snow is blowing in your face or like freezing cold rain. Just be prepared.
Wait for that shuttle, or if it is that cold, I don't park in that commuter lounge. I'll park right in the, where the quarters you have to take, or so. And I will say this: the tickets are only $5. So if you need to take the lick, just take the lick. But that's all I'm saying.
I have ran out of quarters before, or I just did not have enough change for my 50-minute class, and the meter ran out, and I did not get caught. So just throwing that out there. So keep that in mind.
I can't believe I'm having to explain this to college students, but there is a parking app that you can use. You don't have to have quarters.
Yeah, the meter feeder app, and you can just. I mean, I know that, but who wants to do it?
So there is an app. I would also just to let you guys know that's not the only option, especially if you have classes on campus and at the lower campus in the same day. You can always park in E-Lot and take the shuttle. And especially, I think it's important to point out last year, because we had to socially distance on the shuttle, we lost a lot of seats. You had to wait a lot longer. The routes were longer. The demand was there. So now that we're able to resume full occupancy on the shuttles, it'll move a lot more quickly. Another one, I think I can take this one if you guys want to add anything. Is the gym area open to commuter students to work out? It is. You are welcome to use all of our campus resources and centers, the same as our resident students. I will tell you that the gym requires you to swipe your student ID to get in. Depending, obviously the art students that need them to get into the buildings often carry them, but a lot of times our commuter students don't carry their student IDs as regularly. But it's a good idea to make sure that you keep that with you to access places like the gym, if you need to get around campus, or if you want to stop for something on the way home and get a discount at one of our community partners. I'm going to skip down real quick. How do we get a parking pass? Does anyone want to talk about that process?
Yeah, you gotta go on to My Shoe, and then when you go on to My Shoe, dang, I gotta do it to know how to do it. You go on My Shoe, and there's, what is it, parking registration, basically, and you have to fill out basically your license plate, what type of car, the model, the make, all that stuff. And then from there, once you submit that, it'll be on like the left-hand side of My Shoe whenever you go on there, mysetonhill.edu, I think that's the website. And then from there, you'll have to go to the police, not station, the police quarters in the it's like right behind the dining hall in admin or in between there. It's like a really weird spot, but if you just ask, someone will take you right there or show you the way. You'll go there, and after that you'll say, hey, I'm here to pick up my parking pass. You give them your name, and after that they'll have it for you. So just make sure you fill out the registration form on My Shoe before you go there, or they'll just have you do it there. So either way, just do that.
I will tell you, if you're planning ahead and being awesome and getting your things in order now, the parking passes, the new academic year for the upcoming year won't start until August 1st. So if you fill out for your parking pass now, it'll be for the previous academic year and will expire at the end of July. So go ahead and hold off, put that in your calendar and get that in just over a month. One of the other ones, I think I had one more.
There was
Oh, go ahead, Todd.
no, I was just gonna say, yeah, there was one more question.
Okay. Did you find it harder to make friends without staying on campus?
Nah, fam. You just gotta put yourself out there. This is the thing. Commuter students and resident students aren't that different besides the fact that you just drive to, to classes. I will say you, as a commuter student, you make what you get out of, being at college, what you make of it. Like, so like a lot of people say, oh, you live at home, you're not going to get the college experience. But for the majority of the time, I'm not home unless I'm sleeping or doing like work sometimes. So like, in reality, I'm always at on campus, being that I have so many classes, rehearsals, and things like that I'm really never home. Go to the events during welcome weekend. That's where you'll understand like how much stuff is on campus. You'll meet so many different people. I remember during my orientation when I was actually, coming into school, into classes, a lot of people were like, oh, don't go to that. That's weak. I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, you're a first year student too. How do you know? They're like, oh, so-and-so told me. Well, I mean, I'm going to go because I didn't say it was, I haven't done it yet. So how am I going to know if it's weak or not until I go do it myself? And I ended up having a great time at that event. So like, just try the different events. I promise you, if you do that, you're not required for all the events. But even if you're not required, go to those events you're not required for, because usually those are the events that are pretty fun and or have things that you can do to meet other people around campus. Because I can just be, friends with visual and performing arts majors, which is great because, I have those resources. But I have so many more people. Like some of my best friends are like not even in my major at all. And that's why I'm able to go up the hill, go to the dining hall and chill with people up there, get a meal swipe, or just hang out in their rooms and things like that. So trying out as far as like different clubs and doing those different things around campus will help you, make friends. So if you don't do anything to make friends, you won't make friends. That's to put it blatantly, I guess. But yeah, so just go out and try things.
And going off of that, I'm a sophomore. I don't know if I said that in the beginning. I don't think I did. So welcome weekend for me was kind of awkward because for a lot of the activities, it was like you would join on Zoom and like you would just do your own thing and meet people that way. So it was nice to have my first connections class and be able to meet people and actually see people face to face. And Todd was actually my connections mentor. So it worked out very nicely that like I saw him on campus the first day that I was there, and he just kind of guided me. So don't be afraid to like find OLs and be like, hey, do you know anybody that like I can talk to? Or don't be afraid to say hi to the person you sit next to in your connections class. That's how I met my best friend. We're both commuters. And she was like, do you know where you're going for the commuter meeting? And I'm like, yeah, I think I can get us there. And the next day we went to Starbucks because there was like a 2-hour gap before we had to go to our next connections class. So don't be afraid to see new people and be like, hey, I'm new, like you're new. What are we doing? Because everybody's in the same boat. So don't be afraid to see new people and just get out of your comfort zone. Because honestly, that's how you're going to make friends, either with commuters or residents. So yeah.
It's easy to stay in your room.
But what is maybe that too, but as easy as like just sitting there and minding your business is, like going outside of your comfort zone, just saying, hey to whoever is sitting next to you, it's going to change your entire experience, because having so many friends on campus, it's just going to make the experience so much better. For instance, one of the first days of my comp and culture class, I said hi to the girl who was sitting next to me. And this past month, I was just in her wedding. Like, you're going to find so many friends while you're here. It's going to be such an amazing experience. Don't be afraid to just say hi, like, hi, my name is Sarah. I'm a whatever major, or anything. Even just saying hi and just putting yourself out there, it's going to make a difference. It's going to make them be like, oh, hey, you're the one that said hi to me in that one class, like da 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 da. Like, it's going to make it so much easier for you, and it's going to end up, you're going to make so many memories while you're here, and it's just going to be such an amazing time if you're just willing to just say hi and just put yourself out there.
Thanks, guys. I'd also add, an interesting difference. I don't think it's harder to make friends, but I would caution you guys as commuters. I think it's easier to think you don't need to. You might still have friends at home that are close, your best friends. You might still have your family at home. Sarah said about going home to her dog. You might find a lot of things that make you still comfortable, and you might not feel as hungry, like, oh, I need to go out and make friends right away. But obviously that is still important. You don't have to cap the number of friends you have. You can still have friends from home and have new friends here. And something I think that's really interesting, I've been a Greensburg native now for 10 years, and I love it. And I love exploring the community. But to remember, a lot of our campus residents are coming from a long way away. They're missing a lot of the comforts of home. A great way to meet friends, take them out to explore. Meet up at your favorite restaurants. Go out for ice cream or coffee at your favorite local spot. Show them your local park. Let other people enjoy some of the things that you do. And I think that's a great way to meet people, as well as to get them, acquainted and oriented with not only Seton Hill, Greensburg, surrounding communities in Westmoreland County, because I think that we have a lot to offer here, and I want to make sure that everyone gets to see and experience that. So never be shy about sending out invitations or asking people to come explore some of your local stuff.
And going off of that, sorry, the White Rabbit Cafe is a very good spot to go to. I love it there. Everybody is so nice, and a lot of Seton Hill students do go there. I mean, I recognize people just from the Max. So definitely don't be afraid to be like, hey, you go to Seton Hill, like, can I ask you a question about something? Like, if you're an upperclassman, because everybody wants to help you. Like, don't be afraid about that, because people, if you ask someone, they're not just gonna like look at you weird and walk away. Like, we genuinely want everybody to be like happy and feel welcomed. So even if you're out in public and not on campus, don't be afraid to say hi to someone that you recognize from campus, or that goes to Seton Hill, because most of the time, like, it's gonna be fine and they're gonna talk to you, and you may even make like a new best friend or a few best friends. So yeah, just put yourself out there. That is the main thing.
Also, going back to the White Rabbit, if you guys show your student ID at the White Rabbit, you get a discount, and their coffee is it's chef's kiss. It's so good.
The matcha is very good too for any matcha fans.
I was just going to add the secret tip. If you just want to blow someone's mind, say like we're going to go study for an afternoon and go to like Twin Lakes Park or Keystone Park or any of those ones that like are just far enough from campus that you don't accidentally go to. And people love exploring those. We just had one more question come in. This one's probably for Jen. If I missed a past Zoom, can I get a login and account?
If you missed the past Zoom, we actually do put all of the recordings onto our YouTube page, and that's Seton Hill Student Affairs on YouTube. You won't be able to get it to count, but you still can get all the information that you need in order to have the stuff related to whatever virtual orientation event you might have missed.
Okay, if we don't have any other questions, we'll let Jen wrap up. I just want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Again, I'm really excited to work with you guys this year. I want to make sure that you have a great experience and have everything you need. If you ever have any questions or need anything, my office is actually just outside that commuter lounge. And as I was telling them as we logged on today, if anyone's been on campus, it's in the process of being torn apart and completely remodeled for the fall semester, complete with air conditioning. If anyone had been in there in August last year, you'll know how important that is. So a newly remodeled commuter lounge that's going to be a lot more comfortable and nicer place for you guys. So excited to offer that. And go ahead, Jen, wrap us up.
Awesome. Can we give a huge round of applause to Cory and our amazing panelists that we had tonight? We really appreciate all the work that they did and for being here to share their perspectives. I will turn the recording off at the very end if you do have individual questions for any of our panelists, but I'd like to also highlight some of our upcoming virtual orientation events. These can all be viewed on this little pathway sheet that you've got within your welcome package, or you can go to the roadtothehill.setonhill.edu. So we are done with our June events now. So our next event is going to be on Wednesday, July 7th at 6 p.m. and our Career and Professional Development Center staff is going to come for their session. They're going to discuss productive ways to begin your career journey here at Seton Hill and share information related to internships, job searching, and more. So stay tuned for that. On Thursday, July 8th at 6 p.m., we have our Life on the Hill session, and our staff members from Residence Life will share with you what it's like to be living on campus, and they'll answer your questions about being a residential student. And then if you haven't already, make sure you mark your calendars for July 24th at 10 a.m. That will be our final Welcome to the Hill session. Welcome to the Hill sessions are mandatory for all incoming students, but you only need to attend one. So we had one in May, and we also had one yesterday in June. So our last Welcome to the Hill session is July 24th at 10 a.m. This will ensure that your check-in process goes as smoothly as possible when you get to Seton Hill, and it allows you to see Seton Hill at a glance. So definitely make sure you mark that on your calendar. Again, I want to thank Cory and our amazing panelists for being here tonight, and we thank you so much for tuning in.